Well, good day. This is going to be how to add 3D effects to a shape, and it's very, very easy to do. It's a lot of fun. Now, a typical beginner PowerPoint might just give choices A, B, and C like this, and it's just sitting in a text box like normal. And this one was a little fancier. They put a shape behind it, and then there's a text box sitting on top of that shape. And then somebody went all out and they changed the effect of that shape, that blue shape. Now what you could do is, if you got one done already, you could just go up to the format painter and click your new shape and poof. But I want to show you how I did that. So what I did is I inserted a shape. So I go up here to insert and insert a shape, and I chose this rounded rectangle one right here. So I gave it a click and I come down here and I'm going to draw this thing. It's about the same shape, I guess, something like this. And if I'm off a little bit, I'm not too worried about it. Now the shape is in front and the picture of the letters are in the back, so I got to put the shape in the back. So I give it a right click and I want to send this to the back, send to back. So I give it a click, so now the words will end up on the front. I want to give this shape, this blue shape, a 3D effect, so it sort of like sticks out of the page and it sort of shimmers a bit. It looks pretty cool. So the way you do that is just right click your object and say I want to format this shape. You go to format shape, and there's 3D format options, and you sort of got to play around with them. They're a lot of fun to play around with. And the first thing you do is what I do is play around with the bevel. And I'll just move this up, and I'll move this out of the way so you can see what's going to happen behind it. And we'll watch that Nathan Hale down there, and I'll make this thing go up, 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 and we'll start to see the Nathan Hale box starting to take shape. It's starting to become 3D. So whatever you do to the width, you ought to do to the height. At least that's what I think. So I'll sort of rest on this one for a minute, and we'll make the height go about the same as the width. And you can see it's starting to take a 3D shape effect. And I'll just keep going at that. I think I'll make it maybe, I don't know, I'll just guess 50 points maybe, and this one maybe 50 points. And hey, look at that. It's looking pretty good. The other thing you can do with this 3D format is to change the material. So you can make it like really metallic, and so it'll shimmer and shine more. I'll do that, metallic. You can see it's kind of a bit of a glow to it. Another fun thing to do is play around with the lighting. Maybe I'll do you can do a sunset lighting or a 3-point lighting or whatever you want. So you give it a click and you think, well, maybe I don't like that, so maybe I'll choose a different one. Maybe I'll go with this, and you just sort of play around with it and see what all the choices do. That's how you learn. You learn by doing. And so that one looks pretty good to me, and then I'll do close. And hey, I've got a 3D shape. Let's look at another example really fast before I let you go. This one says add a 3D effect to the plain red arrow, and the red arrow doesn't look three-dimensional like the blue one does. So I give it a click, and do you remember what to do? You give it a right click and you say I want to format this shape. Format the shape, and then there's lots of choices, and I'll move this across so we can see the arrow that we're working on. So I'll say a 3D format, and maybe I'll just play around with it. Start with the bevel and hold it down, hold it down, hold it down, and make it big. Don't be afraid to make it really big. So this one's only 10 and things are just barely showing up. So you got to get crazy, man. Get crazy. Maybe 60. What do you think about that? If you do it to the width, you ought to do it to the height. That's what I think. So maybe, oh, look at that. Now I'm starting to get something. Starting to showing up here. That's pretty good. So I'll change the material to something else, and maybe I'll change, do you think soft edge would be good? Let's look. Pretty subtle difference, not much change there. Maybe I'll put it on this one. It's not looking alright, I guess. That was the matte one. What about metal? Metal's always good because it sort of shimmers, people like that. You can change the lighting and play around with it. And the last thing I want to do is change the 3D rotation. I'll look at the 3D rotation. Now you can set your own numbers, but there's some presets already done, so you sure to play around with the presets a little bit and see if you like them. Maybe we'll do this one, and we'll say, no, that looks terrible, so I'm going to do a different one, and maybe it's this one, and I'll say, no, that looks even worse. And you just keep playing around with it till you get the ones you sort of like. So I'm going to say, yeah, that one might work for me, and then I'll close it up. And that's adding 3D effects to shapes. That's about all there is to it.